on multi-stream. Okay, cool. There's Twitch, and then let me bring up my thing here. Gonna get rid of that, and then we're gonna go into the comments. We're gonna okay, wait. How do I here? Okay, there we go. That. Okay, I got the comments over on this side.
Yeah.
I got the Twitch comments here. Okay, we're live. Oh, let me get up the music again. What did I do with the fucking music? Dude, there's so many windows open on here. It's oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. How's it going, DNA? You good? Okay, ready for some music?
Yeah, let's do this music.
Okay. File moved. Wait, come on. Here we go. Come on, what's wrong with my music? Damn, I swear to God, it's always fucking something. Okay. Dude, it's like not. Okay, we're gonna close this. Open this window. Go to there. Go to there. And then that. Okay, here we go. All right. I keep doing that. What was that? What the fuck was that?
That's
Oh, it's
Albert
Einstein.
A little Einstein doll.
A little Einstein doll. I like that. A little
Got an
Funko Pop.
Einstein doll.
How's it going, DNA?
Good, man. Good to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Good to see you.
Twitchy people, everybody, whoever's joining us on our mental health comedy. No, that's somebody else's show. What it's
mental health comedy?
Yeah.
Is that a show really?
Yeah, it's Wonder Dave and Cristiano.
Oh, that's a great
they got the mental health comedy hour.
That's a great mix. That's a great mix.
Yeah. And we're
a mental health podcast run by comics.
This isn't working.
This isn't working. That's what we called it. That's what we're calling it, right? This isn't working.
I mean, look, here's the thing, Butch. Like, that's such a great name. Like, you may want to keep it for a better project.
No, I think this is a great project.
All right.
This is my final stand on podcasting.
There's always room for Jello Riley.
Oh, Jello Riley's in the house. What up, man? Yeah. My mental health is a comedy. That's probably why we're here, because we're all our mental health.
Yeah.
Is the comedy.
Oh man. You know, I was thinking today, they should give awards, cash, trophies are good, but cash to couples. You don't even have to be married. Any couple that's made it through quarantine so far.
Oh, bro, that's me. I know, right? That's me and my girl. You and your wife made it through quarantine. Yeah. I know. So it's weird because I was like, that's not really a thing, but I did see a lot of people fall apart. Like marriages that I thought were gonna last forever, like just fall apart during a quarantine once people got to know each other.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Keyword: getting to know each other.
You can joke. I mean, sure, there's material to be had there, but I mean, it's yes, being alone, that has its own challenges, and not to anyone who's not in a relationship, and you're living alone, or maybe you have roommates, which are relationships, that is a thing. But being with somebody, with a partner, during this last year, almost 13 months, I mean, it's been a real roller coaster ride. There have been good days, bad days, but I have had to really crush my ego and my pride, because I used to be like, I'm going out,
right?
It's 6 o'clock. I'll be back, at 2 a.m., and yeah. But now it's like, we're not going anywhere. Here we are And so many of my problems with her are problems with myself.
Isn't that isn't that a huge lesson to find out? Like
Yeah.
that a lot of your anger, your negative feelings, because this is something that I'm just coming upon maybe this year. That my anger, my negative feelings, like if I strike out at somebody, if I act stupid towards somebody, 90% of the time are like a reflection of me and my
Yeah.
anger towards myself and my inequities and all that other stuff, and like
Yeah.
I never realized that before. And now that I'm in a stage of self-reflection where I could sit down and go, okay, let's take a look at myself. Let's find out. Like before, I would get angry. No finding the root, no finding the cause. You fucking said something. You did something. I'm fucking pissed now. Let's fucking deal with this.
Hmm.
I am now to the point of self-reflection or self-awareness that I go, okay, I'm angry. Why am I angry?
Hmm.
Where is this coming from? And then I like slowly pull like pulling a plant out of the ground. I slowly pull the roots and try to find where this is all coming from.
Hmm.
But I think it took different stages to get to that point. And I don't think I would have reached that level of self-awareness if I hadn't gone through everything else. But I'm still just as angry as I was, but now I'm realizing, oh, this is my own inequity that I'm mad at. This is my own like shallowness or my own whatever situation is that I'm upset with myself.
Hmm. Totally. You said 90%. Yeah, it might even be higher. And,
I'm trying to
you
give a
know,
little room for like when someone fucks up
yeah.
genuinely, like, like I think it's okay to be upset. Like if someone almost fucking crashes into you because they're being stupid on the road.
Hmm.
That's not a reflection. When you get angry at that, now I'm not saying it's okay to honk the horn and flip out and
Hmm.
flip a person off, but I still get angry. I go fucking asshole, and I shudder and I don't show any displays. I don't even try to look at the guy.
Hmm.
But I feel that's not really a reflection of myself, and maybe in a way it is because I've probably made that mistake before, and I
Right.
know what that person's doing. So if you want to think deeply, then maybe it is a reflection of myself. But
Mm.
I do know for sure that, like, okay, if that person didn't do that, I wouldn't be mad. So I try to give that margin of like, there's things that you're gonna get mad at
Mm.
that you can't help in this world that are just gonna happen to you.
Right.
But 90% of the things, if you're mad at your partner over something,
Right.
if you're pissed at your kids about something, if you're just angry at the world about something,
Right.
those are reflections of you. And you're right. It's probably like 99.99% of the time that you're
Yeah.
angry or fucking pissed off that you are reflecting on you're reflecting on your own.
Yeah. I mean, in a relationship or with your kid or with your partner, they're not crashing their car into you. I mean, they rarely do anything that really would elicit a huge angry response, like it's crazy. Like we just the last show we did together, I was house sitting. I was very uncomfortable. I was in
Yes.
somebody else's house, and I don't know if you can notice, but my mood's a lot lighter. But we were doing stuff every day. Like we were because we were in Tahoe, so we were snowshoeing. We went cross country
I
skiing.
saw that. It looked beautiful.
Yeah,
Why were you on edge?
in that other person's house, out of my comfort zone,
Yep.
change something. It was different. Also, we did this show at night, so usually by that time I'm kind of just
You're wound
my
up.
energy's not right, not right. And uh my point is that, so we're like in the middle of winter wonderland. It's her birthday weekend, so it's like she literally said to me, I'm having the greatest time of my life, right?
Yeah.
So I'm behind her skiing or snowshoeing, whatever, and in my head for hours I stayed far behind her. She was also better than me. She was up ahead, but in my head the whole time I'm thinking, oh, this is a good place to commit suicide. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, I go, I'm just talking. one thing, and we can come back to this later, but last week we're talking a lot about therapy, and we've talked about this before, but ultimately your therapist can't be there for you all the time. So you have to learn to talk to yourself
Right.
and do therapy on yourself. So I'm trying, I'm like, why are you thinking about killing yourself in this winter wonderland when she's having the greatest time of her life? And I can't get out of it. I'm drowning in it because I'm like,
You're spiraling.
well, I spiral. I just, it was endless. It was like falling and never hitting the ground in
Right.
my, I don't want to like say negativity because that just kind of like, it's just my own thoughts, my own head, the places I go that she doesn't, and I don't share it. I don't complain. I'm not a complainer. I keep it all inside and I just go, I'm like, I've been like this in every relationship. I'm starting to blame her,
Right.
you you fucking bring me out here to this beautiful place, you stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
blaming her because I'm so uncomfortable and feeling so terrible. And that's an extreme case, but I know I do that all the time in more minor
I've
ways.
I've definitely I've ruined
Always.
birthday trips for my girlfriend because I've done the whole like, you dude, why can't we just stay home and do something normal for your birthday like I do because I hate my birthday and I only do something begrudgingly because everybody wants me to do it. Why can't we do like that? Why do you have to celebrate this fucking this, and I get pissed and in my mind, and that's my inner narrative. And then
Yeah,
what happens is I react to her at some point, and she has no idea where all the anger and animosity is coming from because it's just been an inner narrative. And
yeah,
um that that I it ruined. We were supposed to go to a music festival and we ended up not going,
hmm,
and because I was going to be miserable and I was going to make her miserable. And then it ended up ruining the whole trip. We
yeah,
went camping and we had a good time. We did something else, but I know that inner monologue. I know that guy that's sitting there just fucking steaming and smoldering over some stupid shit that you're having an argument with yourself basically in your head.
all the time.
Right.
And I don't know, I've been married a couple of times, 3 times, and the first two, I can see where this attitude ruined it. I can see where this brain of mine ruined those relationships, and I really don't want that to happen with this one. And I wonder, like I ask myself, would maybe be better to share, maybe if we could talk it out, I can tell her where, but that I've tried, that never really works. Like I don't know where this I sort of know where it comes from, but like I'm like, I'll just figure it out myself. I'll figure it out myself. But I'll still just seethe with anger. And I'm sure that's not good for my health, you
No.
know, and the side effects of whatever, you're just releasing shitty chemicals in your body. And I have the hardest time popping out of it. I just shut my mouth, just do it, don't say anything, try not to be passive aggressive. But it takes forever. It takes hours, sometimes days. The whole week we were away, in my head, super negative. I woke up one morning and I was like, all right, DNA, how are you feeling emotionally today? To myself. And
Right.
I was like, -7.
Wow. Do
Yeah.
you feel though that it's good that you're already having these conversations with yourself as opposed to, because when I ruined it for us like that, I was only having the conversation with myself of how much I was mad at her. I was trying to figure out how I could blame this on her. I never realized, like I said, this is maybe within the last year. This is definitely not pre-COVID. The realization that all that anger, all that frustration is reflection. So I feel like you already knew that going up there, and that's what you were doing. What it sounds like with that talk to yourself. Do you feel that's a step forward that you're at least acknowledging that it's like coming from you and not from her?
I think for me personally, it is. I don't know how it plays out. And I don't know if she thinks it is. I don't know if she sees growth, but
Right, right.
I see it. I mean, honestly, I couldn't get a handle on it. Honestly, I was talking to myself but I was just sinking. I couldn't, I was a shitty therapist with myself. I couldn't get a handle on it.
Mm.
And I think part of it was that I don't know how you are, but this is a thing with me. Now, we haven't taken very many trips. Like, you know, last year, COVID, the year before we had the business, the year before we were getting ready for the business. Like 3 years ago, we went to Disneyland for 4 days. And before that, I'm not even sure when our last trip was. So
Right.
we don't do trips a lot. But we'll, whatever, like a vacation, they go away,
Right.
to do something different. We're not going to see family, you know, we're just going to do our own thing. And what I find, and this is, my body is full of stress cells. All my cells are stressed out. Like if you could just get a microscope and look at one of my cells, and it'd be like my whole body is just stressed.
Right.
When I go away, these weird, like, relaxed cells start trying to get inside of me, and it's all backwards.
And it's foreign
Norm-
to you.
Normally, I should have relaxed cells in my body. And when
Right.
stress comes, I'm like, fuck you. But instead, it's the opposite, where I resist relaxing, and it takes me days just to take a breath and be like, okay, we're somewhere different now. I should probably try to enjoy
What
this.
is the can you put your finger on the anxiety, like where it comes from when you're up there? Like um is it because you're in someone else's house? Is it because you think you're gonna die? Is it because like you just don't want to be there and you're uncomfortable? Like, are you able to put a finger on what brings that anxiety? What made those stress cells take over your calm cells and push your calm cells out?
Yeah.
What do
There
you
was there was
what is it that
nothing
you're stressing off of?
there was nothing externally. Nothing. I mean, we had this a friend, we were in her house. It
Uh-huh.
was Everything was taken care of. They had a hot tub. We were like a short trip from the skiing that she wanted to do.
Right.
Dog loved. Externally, everything was totally fine.
Right.
But internally, I was in the dungeon. And it's a good question. I think that, like I said earlier, it used to be, as a couple, when we would have conflict, I would be, well, it's 6 o'clock. I got to go now. I got to go to the club. I got to go to the show. I got to go to the lab,
Right.
whatever. And then during quarantine, that's been hard. There is no more shows, but I think I found ways to kind of hide a little bit over the last year. She works during the day, like she's in her office at home right now working, and I kind of have my time to myself, so I still can avoid issues. But when we went away, now there's no avoiding it. We're together. I don't have any, alone time, because we're together on this trip, and
Right.
everything came to the surface. All these negative thoughts I harbor, there was nowhere to hide them anymore. And I had to confront them in my own head
Mhm.
while still not being a dick to her externally,
Right. Right.
like, and I, I think it's always been with me. I mean, I'm not going to go Freudian and start talking about my parents and earlier traumas in my life. The thing is, I'm here now. Why am I living in such a stressful, negative world? That's a good question. It's what I need to ask myself and pull myself out of that comfortable, depressed hole that I can live in.
Right. Yeah, because I've definitely been there. Like even in the last relationship, I was on my way. I was working the road with Edwin San Juan. I was doing a bunch of stuff with him and another guy named George Perez. And I got asked to be last minute. I did a show with them. I was supposed to take off to Maui, paid trip by my ex girlfriend's parents, um, and then food and everything paid. I even got a little spending money because I was like, I kept making excuses. I can't go. I'm broke. I can't go. I got this. I can't go. And then last minute, as I finish off a weekend with Edwin, they're like, hey, do you want to go with us to Anaheim or some shit? And I was like, fuck, dude, I'm supposed to go to Hawaii. And like, and there were no breaks, bro, with these guys. It wasn't like, hey, bro, it's Hawaii. Fuck, do your thing, dude. We'll do something when you get back. It was like, well, either you want a job or you don't. And so I went to Hawaii, you know, with a like with a barely an inch, like a fucking hair of the convincingness that like, look, man, you're a working comic at this point. You're gonna start making money eventually and get things that you want. You're missing one show. It's okay, you know. But as I've said to you, every moment counts. And so I get on this plane and I meet up with my at the time girlfriend in Maui, and I'm fucking pissed. I'm in fucking Maui. I'm staying in a condo right on the coast where you could see whales jumping at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm mad because we get a room that doesn't have air conditioning. I'm mad because she wants to have sex and it's going to be too hot for us to have sex. And I'm you know what I mean? Like, what, bro? What? You're in Maui, you know? And so I sympathize with you a lot. And you know, luckily for me, I adjusted after day 2. And to be honest with you, the trip was so fucking relaxing that it was literally one of the only times I came back from a trip or doing something where I was struggling with comedy
Mm,
because I had become so relaxed. But
yeah.
those first few days, like we got in a like straight up yelling match in the middle of the guy jumping off the fucking cliff at the sunset thing. And there's people all around us and we're fucking yelling at each other and they're like calling the cops on us and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, you know, like, you know, the problem is you want to be able to say, hey, you're in Tahoe and you're
Yeah.
staying in a cabin and your girl's happy and your dog's happy and you're surrounded
Yeah.
by a winter wonderland that you don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, like everything should be all good. You're alive. You
Yeah.
know, you right? But there's
Yeah.
something screaming inside you.
Yeah. Jello just said, when I house sit, the reason for the anxiety is simple. I knew I was going to need to shit in an unfamiliar toilet. Dude, my ass closes up when I didn't shit for 3 days
Wow.
at her play. I just when I travel, my bunghole closes. It's
That
just
is and okay, I've experienced this physical anomaly a few
yeah,
times in my life, but it's only been in one place and it happens to every guy, especially on the first time around,
Blue Lagoon.
is jail.
Oh
If
yeah,
you go to jail, you don't shit for 3 days because your body is so tensed up and so scared. And this is a phenomenon that is weird to me that I don't know if Jello's being truthful cuz he's one of my funniest like people on Twitch. He's one of the funniest Escobros. Um so I don't know if he's being funny or maybe he's being both serious and funny, but I've only experienced that under the most stress.
oh no, I experience it anytime we leave the house.
That is That's crazy, you know,
Yeah,
and
I did 14 years of Thursdays at the Blue Lagoon running that show. I never took a shit there. I never took a shit there. I've never used the bathroom. I used
the
the
Blue
urinal
Lagoon,
one.
the
Yeah,
Blue
one
Lagoon is
time.
my favorite, one of my favorite like hole in the wall like type show places to actually
Did you
take a
ever take
shit.
a shit there?
Yeah, because if you
Yeah.
go into that disco room around the corner, go to the
Yeah.
far door at the end, which doesn't look like a bathroom to anybody. And
Right.
that bathroom, even though it looks like Satan lives in there, the toilet itself is fucking clean as fuck. Now, first of all, I don't know anybody else in their right mind that would shit in there. You know, it's in the Blue Lagoon bathrooms at all. You know, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we differ, my friend. Um, one of the things that used to make my friends laugh at me so much was that I would get up in the morning and we'd go fishing at like 6 in the morning, and I would just pop my butt over a log and take a shit over the log, and you know, and I'd clean my duty, and you know, I'd throw it in the garbage, but I didn't give a fuck. And my friends were like, "Bro, you're shitting on the side of the lake," and it was like my day couldn't get started. So like, you know, and like you shit in jail after you do shit in jail, you realize like, oh, I could shit anywhere. It's like sleeping too, you know, like so I mean, I'm not that tense, but that's the thing, man, is where do you like dude, we just talked about shitting for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What's up Isaiah Demir by the way? Um yeah, I feel like to me, I'm that's where I'm at right now too. Is I'm searching as to why when I go somewhere or get an opportunity, do I get so stressed out? Like that's the thing for me, man. Is like I'm a comic. I love being a comedian, and I get these big shows, and like I'm going to be in Alexandria, Virginia, at the end of the month with Felipe. Okay,
Yeah.
I only have to do probably about 10 minutes. I'm opening for them. Okay, why am I scared shitless? I have an hour and a half of material at least, probably more. Like, why am I nervous?
Well, I don't know. There's a plague.
I'm
I
gonna be fully vaccinated by then. Like, I'm gonna
It
be
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude. I mean, over the last, first of all, forget the pandemic. Over the last 4 years before that, we all thought the world was going to end because Dumbo was going to push the red button. And
right.
then over the last year, we're in a pandemic. I'm getting vaxxed too. I mean, you're traveling. I mean, I was curious, and this strays from what we're talking about, but I was curious how it went with Felipe, like, because you were saying
Oh, that was
you fly
that
you
was
fly to
that was an
Texas,
anxiety nightmare. That was that was
you
an
flew to Texas, you had 5 masks on,
right.
and then you perform for 3,000 people. I mean, that's and outdoors with the delay, hello, 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 hey, 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 how. I mean, that's nerve.
That
That's
so the delay wasn't too bad.
yeah.
What fucked me up, and that was the thing is like man, getting there was an anxiety nightmare because I was unvaccinated, and I was on 100% packed flights, 2 ways there and 2 ways back. Um, our layovers were in Phoenix, which were like it's the most packed airport ever, and then getting to the show was fun. I had a good time hanging with the guys. I kind of just at some point was like, you know what, I'm gonna die from this. I'm gonna. That's where I went. Like in my mind, like I listen to a lot of military books. Like I love books from dudes in the military, and like a lot of the common theme for dudes that go into war, or like their way of convincing themselves to do this is they like, okay, I'm already dead. Like I'm already
Mhm.
gonna die. Like I know I'm gonna die, and it made it comfortable. So to me, that was a tactic that I used when I got on the plane. Was like, because I've never, bro, before walking into that airport, I had never gone anywhere except the grocery store. And even
Mhm.
then, I barely went to the grocery store. So
Right.
my human contact was very limited. And
Right.
for a good reason, because like I said, if I get sick, I feel that with what I have, I could die. And
Right.
so I saw the guys and I walk up and I'm freaking out. On the inside, I'm just screaming. But I'm like, all right, dude, we're gonna do this. Like that first leg of the trip was awful, like, because I met up with them in Phoenix, and I remember telling myself, in order to have a good time with my friends, I'm going to have to just assume that I'm gonna get it, and not care about the outcome,
Right.
for right now. And the one thing that I do fully believe in my heart as a comedian is that if you dream of doing something and you go, I'm gonna go do this dream, I'm gonna pursue this dream. If if you somehow perish in the course of that dream, whether you crash on a plane or the theater burns up with you in it, or you get sick and die from a fucking terrible lung disease, you're dying in pursuit of your dream. And that there is the most noble thing as a human being that you can imagine. Now I don't want to die and I'm afraid of death,
Right.
just like most people. I'm not comfortable with my own demise yet.
Yeah.
But I had to convince myself to stay in the moment and to stay in the present and enjoy friends that I haven't seen in a while and get to do things that nobody else in the world gets to do.
Mhm.
And so I kept having to tell myself that from point to point because it was like, and I'm also in a car with four comics that I'm friends with, but I don't know where they've been. I don't know how
Mhm.
much they give a fuck about this shit. We haven't
Mhm.
really discussed it,
Yeah.
and like we get to the place, and even though it's outdoors, we're greeted indoors to a green room filled with people. We
Mhm.
and we're I'm bro, I'm in the most affected part of the country at the time and the most affected city. You know,
Mhm.
my cousin took me around that day and showed me where they were keeping the trucks that held all the bodies.
Holy
You
moly.
you know, and so like you didn't you see the reality of it, and the people in El Paso know the reality of it. You know, and then like I started to have a lot of fun once I was able to convince myself that, hey man, you're probably gonna get it. You're probably gonna be okay, but you might not. And if you're not, we'll deal with that part. And I don't know if I would have without therapy, without this new way of thinking that I would have been there, but in that moment like that, but I was, and I was grateful for it. And then I was ready to kill it on stage. And they got these big screens and a camera on you, and there's lowriders everywhere, and like there's people everywhere, and right about after between the mic check and before we get on stage, the wind kicks up,
Oh, man.
and it's like it's just loud and in your fucking ear, and everybody's like going like, you know, like screaming and yelling, and like to them it's like a concert. And
Yeah.
so I did okay. I made them laugh on that first round because Felipe wanted me to stretch it out. He's like, do different times, and so you can get maximize your time up there. And I think I was distracted by the win. I think I was distracted. I wasn't ready for that level of an outdoor show. I think that a million things came to me, and I could barely muster the 10 minutes that I mustered. You know, because I got nervous and I got out of my head. You know, I almost got sidetracked. I relaxed my guard so much that I got sidetracked on stage and I lost focus. You know, now it was outside, and I gave my excuse to whatever, but really, bro, I just didn't have a good set or the set that I wanted. And I felt like, man, and once again, dude, this has been my attitude. I hung my head on the plane coming home, you know, and I was
Mhm.
like, well, at least I experienced that. I had a good time. I saw my family. No matter what, I had a really good time, you know. But in the back of my head, it's like, yeah, but Felipe is never gonna hire you again. You know, you didn't do that good. Like, you know, and then once again, I did what I think Jill O'Reilly is calling the old Greyjoy tactic.
Mhm.
Um, what is dead might never die. I don't know what that means, but I said I'm never getting hired again.
Mhm.
But am I happy still doing comedy where I'm doing comedy? Man, I want to progress more than anybody. I want to get on TV more than anybody. I want to have a dope YouTube channel. I want our Twitch podcast stream to fucking go through the roof. I want
Yeah.
success so bad I could taste it. But at the same time, that animal that's constantly driving for success, I need to rein him in and be like, hey man, sometimes we have to be okay with just that we get to perform and we get to go up. Now, Felipe invited me to do a show out in by DC where we're heading at the end of the month, and so I'm happy to say that I don't think I ruined my chances, and I'll have a chance to redeem myself out there because I don't know if he thinks like this. This is not his reflection at all. If he's just bringing me out there because we're friends and we're having a good time, or because he's giving me opportunities, or both. But to me, I'm taking it as every time you go up, and I've said this to you before too. Every time you go up, it's an audition. It's either an
Mhm.
audition for yourself or it's an audition to people watching you and whoever could be there to give you opportunity. So, you know, that's the way I treat everything in comedy. So, once again, I go, okay, well, I was okay with where I was at, but now I'm getting um shows again, and some guys from El Paso called me a few days ago and want me to go out to a new club out there. Um, you know, I'm getting work here, so I'm starting to like, okay, cool. I'm a lucky person, and I
Right.
think that's the thing, man. Is maybe you should put yourself in the point, and I'm not just talking to you or talking about. I'm just talking like to everybody who has these anxieties. Like maybe put yourself in a state of neutral where where you are, and
Mm.
there's nothing that you could do to change where you are at this very moment, you know. So like for me, man, um There's a pandemic. There's people dying. I owe so much money on rent. I owe so much money in utilities. I have no idea how I'm going to be paying my bills for the next few months. But right now, this moment, I'm talking with my friend for a good hour. And I get
Hmm.
to be here with you, and we get to have these cool discussions, and we get to do this thing live, and we're not afraid to do it, and we're not, and so to me, it's like, I know those things are out there waiting for me, you
Yeah.
know, but I've made it this far in life.
Yeah. I mean, and to go circle back to why you're nervous about the next batch of shows. I mean, like you said, I mean, if you had a list of the most stressful things that could happen to a human being, at the top's going to be a plague, traveling during a plague,
Right,
being in a room with strangers during this time, and then you haven't been on stage a lot in the last year, and now you're going to be in front of 3,000 people,
right.
and the wind's kicking up, and you have 10 minutes, to razzle dazzle. Plus, Felipe's huge, and he's like checking you out. But I mean, if
Yeah,
he invited you back, I mean, he knows. He's like, look, Butch, he's reliable. He showed up. He put in his time. And one thing I got to say, and you can disagree with me, is I think that comedians were the worst judges of how we did.
I agree with you. Yeah, I definitely.
Sometimes I mean, sometimes
Right.
but then even then, I like the best set I ever had at the Punchline, where there were multiple people high-fiving me as I walked off stage. I still think it was a prank. Like, I think someone paid them.
Yes.
I don't think it was real.
Oh God, yes, dude. Yes, I feel you.
And so, of all these things adding up to be like, why are you nervous? I mean, why wouldn't you be nervous
Right.
to, if you were like, if I was talking to you and you're like, yeah, DNA, I'm leaving in a couple of weeks, man, totally calm. I got this. I'd be
Right.
like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I would
What
be, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah.
But that's the thing though, is like, man, my girl laughed at me the other day in a way, not laughed at me, but she was like, I had shared a memory, that, when I was a kid, I remember the very beginning of my self-esteem dropping to the floor. I remember it was a moment that I shared, and as I was sharing that moment on Facebook, I remember this moment being the beginning of the compounding beatdown to my soul and self-esteem. And it was real simple. I'm in the bathroom, and this kid's like, "What's up, ape face?" And I go, why you call me ape face? And cause you look like a monkey. And he's opening the door to the stall, and he's pulling down his pants to take a shit. And he's like, cause you look like a monkey. And it wasn't like, it was nothing to him. And I
Yeah.
remember looking in the mirror and going, I do look like a monkey. Okay. And then that started cause I would come home and my mom would go, you are a handsome, handsome boy. And I was like, no, I know I'm not. Stop fucking lying to me.
Yeah.
And it was like, and it was all the little lies that your parents tell you that slowly made me think that she was lying to me. And if my mother was lying to me, then that means nobody's going to tell me the truth. And as
Yeah.
I go through life, you know, I feel like I'm just lucky. And my girl goes, wait a minute. So you think that you've done all these things, you've gone to see overseas, you've worked with all these different comics, and you headline all these places in the area. You think that's because people want to keep you thinking that you're good even though you're not, like you think. And she was like, that's almost the most selfish thing I've ever heard, because it's about you, and in a way it really, and that in that way that it hit home for me, because I was like, holy fuck, bro, like, yeah, how is it that I think, and it's imposter syndrome, we could call it that, but it's like, yeah, dude, like, you I feel you on that part where you're like high-fiving everybody and you're like, this isn't real, dude. I did okay, and this is like getting Fs, and when you get a C, everybody freaks out.
Yeah.
Because that, and also that's an experience I had. I remember getting Fs and Ds all the time in school, and when I got straight Cs in like the 10th grade, my parents threw me a party. My sister was getting fucking honor rolls, and she'd get $10 for every A or something like that.
Right.
Like, and that was the extent of what they did for her. And here I got C's, and my parents went ballistic.
Yeah.
So, and as you get older and you look back, you go, what a loser. You got
Yeah.
C's and you celebrated that.
Yeah.
And this, like, I think it's societal. I think it's a lot of it's self reflective. And
Yeah.
you just put this beat down on yourself. And it's like, no, bro. Like, on my end, would DNA
Mhm.
be putting me on his shows that he, like, would he be booking me at his club that he spent his hard earned money to, like, build? And his
Mhm.
time. Like, would he be putting me on shows? And for DNA, would people be asking you to be on their podcasts and to hang out with them if you hadn't done something with your life and been something, like, and I think it's easy to look at yourself only because that's the only thing you can do is you're inside yourself. You're nobody else, and you can't see yourself from anybody else's point of view. So you
Yeah,
can
I think it's super common. I think, I'm sure there's a lot. I'm sure there's people, a percentage of people who have incredible healthy egos. Like, you ever meet one of these people? Like, but we don't know what is happening in their head. So maybe they also are dealing with demons. I
Oh,
mean,
my
who?
dad. My dad
Yeah,
never feels guilt. Never, never like, I've never seen my dad. I've rarely seen my dad get angry, and I've rarely seen my dad have a negative um feeling towards something.
yeah,
Almost always, my dad has a positive attitude. The motherfucker was in Vietnam in
yeah.
'68 and '69.
Oh no.
Like, when guys were, those are like the worst parts and times, and those guys were coming back with all the nightmares and all the madness. And my dad, bro, he's never, he's always been a tough guy. He's always been very kind of macho in a few ways, but he's very sensitive to women. He's very sensitive to women's needs, and he's very loving and positive. And and he looks at us kids, and he looks at me, and he sees me struggle, and he helps me, but in no way does he go, I'm sorry for the way that I raised you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I didn't, and whatever I accused him of as a younger kid, he would just like, I'd be like, you're never here, you're always at work, and he'd be like, I gotta work. I have to go to work. I don't know what you want me to do. And I was just nuts how a person could be raised as a Catholic and not have
Mhm.
any fucking guilt. Where I'm just spewing to this day, like, Catholic guilt. I mean, bro, like, just to even come in here, break away from my kid who's in school right now on the computer, and go, hey, I gotta shut the door on you, and I feel guilt, and it's like, dude, you're there for your kid. You're a present dad. Why do you feel bad? Why do you feel bad about this?
I mean, I would, yeah, I'd have to say, like, on this ski trip or whatever, if you were to see, at a certain point, my wife did say, wow, you didn't complain at all. You were so great this whole time. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I was thinking about killing myself most of the time. But she doesn't know. I mean, and we don't know. We don't know what's going on in your dad's head. You know, super good at compartmentalizing parts of his. We just don't know.
But is that
But
healthy?
I doesn't. But what I'm saying is, for most of us, we go, oh man, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, and we tell ourselves this narrative all the time. And I mentioned this a couple back, and it's something worth thinking about. It was some study, I don't even remember, Stanford, I don't know, but the study said that we we talk to ourselves, and we have 1,400 words a minute, 1,400 words a minute in our own head, talking to ourselves,
Mm.
that we're not even aware of. It's constantly going. In meditation, they call it the chattering monkey. It's that part of yourself that's always talking. And with meditation, you're just trying to calm that talking down.
Right.
So much of that talking that we do to ourselves is so negative, from something some kid said to you in elementary school, or somebody said something to you one time, man, are you ugly, and you're just like, I'm ugly, I'm an ugly person.
Right.
And you create this whole identity around a lie, and I think that's what a lot of people are struggling with over the last year, is now that we've had the time to kind of like take some time off, went to our rooms, thought about who we are for a year. I think, and to go back all the way to the beginning, I think that a lot of relationships haven't been able to make it this far because people are dealing with their own shit, and they can't even deal with the relationship because they're too busy just dealing with their own stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and maybe that's it. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's the thing, is we come together and we go, I can't stand this person.
Mm.
And it's not, is it that person that you can't stand, or is it your own way of thinking, your own way of looking at yourself?
Yeah.
When me
What do
and
you
my
think about what do you think about pulp in your drink? Do you like chewing on something while you're trying to drink at the same time?
No, I can't stand that coconut water shit, bro. I don't know how motherfuckers could drink that. It
I'm trying to drink, but now I got to chew.
yeah, I can't even, like, pulp and orange juice I like.
Yeah.
But pulp and coconut juice by itself is not for me. Um Coconut milk is bomb though. I love coconut milk, which is not good for you at all. But
Well, this is coconut water.
well, whatever the fuck it's called, coconut water, juice,
Yeah.
it's fucking it's disgusting. I remember that same trip to Maui. First thing I did was I bought a coconut with a straw in it, thinking, hell yeah, this is gonna taste like coconut, and it didn't. I don't know what semen tastes like, but I imagine it was the same.
It's kind of chewy.
Yeah, and my ex was like, because that's who I was with at the time, was like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of the same. So
Because we
I,
went, my wife and I, we went to Hawaii for our honeymoon, and we get there, and I'm like, someone's trying to put a lay on me. I'm like, fucking no, I don't want. I'm already super angry. We get to our hotel, and they're like, your room's not ready. I'm like, this is bullshit.
oh my god,
It's paid. What do you mean it's not ready? Sorry, my got a Charlie horse. And they go, sit by the pool. I don't want to sit by the pool.
oh my
I
god.
want to get to my room. So we go to the pool, and my wife and I, we're having a beer, and I'm like, fuck it. And I pull out this edible that I had, bit, and there's a picture of me holding up the edible, like,
Right.
and I eat it, and we finish our beer. She forgets that I ate an edible. So now she's like, let's just, we had our swimsuits. Let's change into our swimsuits. And I go into the men's bathroom and have a complete mental breakdown. Like, I don't know, like it's hitting me hard. I don't know why I'm in a bathroom. I'm
Oh
like, what's in my
man.
hand? I'm like, oh, that's the key to the room. Oh, why am I in the bathroom? Oh, I'm putting on a swimsuit. What's in my hand? Oh, that's the key to the room. Like, I'm just,
Oh
like a
wow.
goldfish, man. Every 3 seconds, the same
Yeah.
thoughts. I must have been in there like a good 25 minutes. I come out, she forgot I ate the edible. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, and she's like,
Oh no.
can you put some suntan lotion on me? So like, I was like doing this one little circle. She's like, what are you doing? Like, she couldn't, and it took about another 30 minutes till I was able to go, hey, I ate that edible. She's like, makes sense now. Like, because I got over the embarrassment of being so out of control, and I shared it. I don't do this a lot, but I did, and it kind of made it better, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I do need to share stuff more about where I'm at, maybe that, I don't know. I don't know why I've carried all this negativity inside of me for so long. I don't have easy answers
I
to.
try to not be suggestive or like give advice sometimes. with this stuff because everybody's different.
Yeah.
But I do speak from like I try when I, especially with this podcast and talking about mental health and us not being experts. Where I'm try to speak from just my own experience. And one of the things that my girl is very good at, and who has her own, she's got her own mental health issues that she speaks openly about, is that she would, like I would blow up and she would go, like, once she calmed down after being fucking pissed off at me for being pissed off, she would be like, okay, what happened? And I would explain the buildup. And she would be like, you know what this is? This is a lot of you not sharing your feelings.
Mm.
And there's nothing wrong with feelings, and that's the one thing that if you could establish with your partner, I think with anybody is like, once you both establish that there's nothing wrong with feelings, there's nothing wrong with not liking a moment, there's nothing wrong with being sad, and it shouldn't be up to the other person to capture your moments and make it theirs. Like that's the one thing my girlfriend's really good at is like, okay, you're in a bad mood and we're on the beach. I'm going to go over here and make a mandala out of rocks and you
Mhm.
can go fuck off, you know? And so that's the thing is that she does her best and we both do our best, but at the same time, you're lovers and you're in love with each other. So sometimes you just have to stop in your great moment that you're having fun and go, okay, let's fix what's going on with you, or at least try to talk about it so we
Yeah.
can get it out there because I want to know. I want to know how you're feeling. I want to, and so what I've learned to do now is go, she suggested something the other day that she wanted to do, and I said, I'll be honest with you, that gives me anxiety. And in the past, I would have been like, yeah, that's great, do that.
Mhm.
I don't want to be a fucking splinter in your, in your thing, and and I would try to pretend it's cool, and as it would go on, I would get upset, and then I would lash out.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to contain my anxiety. And I said, I have a lot of anxiety with you wanting to do that, and it's up to her to go, okay, well, I'm going to still do it because this is what I want to do, or to go, okay, I'm going to consider that. And she did. And she was like, then I don't have to do it. It's not that important to me. And I think it's okay. Like, and that's the thing is I'm finding like talk about surviving in a pandemic. We used to fight a lot when we were first together, and at one point I thought we were going to be over. And when we moved in here into Berkeley, which was a much more stressful environment because now I don't have a lot of money. I have one room. We used
Mhm.
to have a house together.
Mhm.
We've been thriving through this pandemic, and she's been home, and I've been home, and we've been stuck with each other. But I think a lot of it has to do with me being comfortable with saying, I'm not comfortable right now. Or sometimes she'll go,
Mhm.
hey, are you okay? And I go, no, I'm having anxiety. Now, it's not 100%, dude. It's not perfect. I
Mhm.
still sometimes hold things in and they spill out and we argue, but it's so much more mitigated now because I'm starting to make it a habit of going, here's where I'm at right now. And I'm sorry that we're not having a good time. I'm sorry that I can't be in the moment, but I'm having anxiety because I'm thinking of this, that, or the other thing.
Mhm.
And like I don't know, man, like that's a habit that I had to create. It wasn't like I started doing it overnight, but I do know that it saves me so much now. So much like anxiety, so much stress because I'm able to just go, okay, I got bothered by what you said earlier. I know you didn't mean it this way, but I remember that one day we were supposed to do this and or whatever, and it's like and then we were able to talk about it and I'm not fucking letting it fester inside me and like building and building and building and building. So, I think that's the key to our success here at the house. I feel like you have a pretty good relationship with your
Me?
girl. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we're just talking. I mean, I don't share. I keep it all in. I just recently was thinking my dad, his first heart attack, he didn't tell anybody for 3 days. He had a major heart attack, didn't tell anybody for 3 days. I always thought it was the craziest thing I'd ever heard of. But just recently, like in the last 2 weeks, I thought, I would do that. I would
Yeah.
do the same thing. I wouldn't tell anybody. I
Right.
wouldn't tell. And I'm like, and so I've got some things I got to deal with on sharing. I'm not, I don't know. My first long, serious, my first wife, we shared everything, everything. If there was a situation, we were very hippie. We'd stop, like we'd pull over and get out of the car and like sit cross-legged and face each other and be like, what's going on? Let's work this out, right? But that marriage didn't work. So then the second one, I said, I'm going to share half, half I'll share. And then this marriage, I'm like, don't share anything. Work it out
Just don't
yourself.
say nothing.
Yeah, don't say nothing.
Just
And
yeah.
that's been my now I just want to say to anyone watching, you're going to fall somewhere in between all that. You share everything, you share nothing. And I just want to say one thing that I've been trying to do, and maybe if you're listening, you think, well, that's not very healthy not to share. And you're talking about, thinking about suicide for hours on end, and that's not healthy. But one thing I think is healthy about it is that I don't punish myself over it. I don't punish myself. I don't be like, man, you really fucked up that day because
Sure.
you or had negative thoughts all day. I try not to. I beat myself up in the moment, but I try not to do it in reflection, in looking back, because I tried. I remember last week we were talking about mantras,
Uh-huh.
and if you don't know what a mantra is, it's kind of a thing you repeat to yourself over and over. But one that I try to use is that you're doing the best you can. I try to tell myself that no matter what it is, you're doing the best you can. In this moment, you're doing the best you can. And
Right.
that, is it,
That's a
if you just,
great mantra. That's a great
if you're,
mantra.
if you're always saying, man, I could have done, man, I should have had a better set in front of those 3,000 people if the wind in my face. I should have had a, dude, you're just living in the past.
Right.
You can't go back and change it. Why
That's
beat
so
yourself
true.
up
That's
over it?
so true.
Be better next time,
That
or do
is
it the same way. But
that's the
ugh,
truth. That is
yeah,
the, I agree with you. And I think that's a really good um end point right there is that you're doing the best you can. Like that's a great mantra. And you're right. And I look at it now if when I look at it in that context and I look back at that night and woulda
yeah,
shoulda couldas,
mm,
it's like, bro, you're doing the best you can. Not even I did the best I could, which I did at the time, or maybe I could have done better, but no matter what, I'm doing the best I can now overall.
mhm,
I'm stretching myself as much as I can. I'm getting up as much as I can. I'm pushing
mhm,
for time wherever I could get time. You
mhm.
know, I'm 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 already working on ways to get back in to different places. So to me, yeah, I am. I am doing the best I can. And I feel actually that does make me feel better thinking it
Yeah.
in that terms.
All
All
right.
right. What do you got? You got anything you want to
Yeah,
say?
I do the Wednesday, Thursday thing. We broadcast for free on Facebook, and Wednesday's comedy, usually magic and a puppet, and then Thursday storytelling. We got this theme every Thursday for stories. This week is weird jobs, and we got this a brilliant performer from Portland. Her name's Berlin, and she's our featured storyteller. But right now, I have a couple of things, maybes. I have like in my hand, like I'm at the roulette table. I'm just the roulette table. No, more like the crap table. I'm trying to like roll the dice and have it, but I don't know gambling very good. But I got some things, and I don't know if any of them will work out. And I'm trying not to be attached to any of them. I'm trying
Right.
not. I'm just trying to be like, man, if something's meant to be and it's going to work out, let's roll the dice. I'll do the best I can and not be attached to end results and stuff. And yeah, so
That
I
and
got
that that's my mantra
yeah.
is what I always say is life is a river, I'm just the boat.
Mm,
Like I'm just the raft. I'm just fucking this thing just floating down the river and I can't paddle up. I can't fucking I can sway left or right, but I really can't go much except forward.
mm,
And and it's constantly flowing. So, to me, sometimes when shit just happens, I'm like, that's part of the movie.
Mhm. Well, hey, lip patch 121 heard you about how hungry you are for success.
I want to
Yeah.
become famous. That's a
Yeah, you wanna
bot.
be
That's a
famous?
bot on Twitch. And usually I have a mod that'll kick them out. And I kind of like keeping them there because they're funny to me. That it's all want to become famous by followers, primes, and viewers on adviewers.com. I better not do that. Yeah, like so. Yeah, those
So
are.
yeah, so like share, don't share, whatever it is. If you're with a partner, you know, just don't beat yourself up, man. Just don't do it, man. My dad used to say to me, he'd say, don't he'd say, don't beat yourself up. There's plenty of people that are willing to do it.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That is too. Yeah, that I could get with that. And that's the thing is, I think I'm learning to do that. I fucking kick myself every day, man. Waste of time. Or things that I even just do like. I want to get off here right now, and I want to jump into sending emails and doing what I need to do to fucking stay afloat. But I almost guarantee you, I'm gonna play video games for the next 2 hours and be mad, and then like be mad at myself because I'm gonna end up having to do those emails and stuff tonight instead
Yeah.
of spending quality time with everybody.
Yeah.
So like, and I'll find something. I think you're always gonna find something to make yourself angry with yourself.
Sure.
And you just sometimes, yeah, you got to give yourself a break. My girl likes to always tell
Self
me, she
break.
goes, just pretend you're Bobby, and
Mm,
you come to yourself with your own problems. Like,
mhm,
how would you call Bobby stupid for what he's doing? Would you call Bobby? Because I'm always like, stupid fucking Butch. How could you fucking,
mhm,
and I'll start off with stupid fucking Butch, and she's
mhm,
like, is that how you would address your son if he had that same problem you have?
mhm.
And so I have to be better about thinking like that, as opposed, because I still, man, even today I'm like, you stupid fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I went to bed late, and had to get up early to go get Bobby, and I was just like, on the way out, I'm like, you're a dumb fuck for fucking staying up late. You're already fucking up. Look at, we're running late, and I'm like,
-7.
yeah. And then halfway on that trip, I go, I can't beat myself up. I'm gonna be late. I know I'm gonna be late.
Yeah.
Send the text messages to whoever needs to know, and then relax. Turn on Audible, listen to this fucking cool book,
Mhm,
and drift on down the road. And that's what I did. And Bobby missed another class. I don't think he was upset about it.
mhm.
But it is what it is, man. Sometimes.
Yeah, dude, you're doing the best you can, juggling everything. I literally cannot imagine what it'd be like to be raising a kid during this time or any time.
It's fucking
And
great.
I love you, dude, and I appreciate
Love you too,
everybody who
man.
watches this thing.
Yeah, dude. This is fun. We're gonna keep doing this. Hopefully people
Yeah.
will start to listen up, and we'll that's the thing, man. We'll get a few of these under our wing as we move along and we get better at it.
Yeah.
And I'll start putting up some fucking marketing for it, and we'll
Yeah, we'll get there. I like this one. This was a good one.
yeah, this was fun. All right, my brother. I will see you next time.
Okay.
Next Tuesday.
Okay.
Right here.
All
All right,
right.
man. Later, bro. All right, streamers. Let me take this down. And hey, I want to thank everybody who was here. PSA rockin'. What up, man? How you doing, bro? How is it going? Twitch streamers. Who am I with here? Little patches. I got to get rid of that guy right there. Um, Fucking bots. And then shout out to whoever's watching over here on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Like I said, we're gonna keep doing the podcast. Regardless, like of who's watching, I liked having viewers, and I want you guys to share this or spread the word of mouth or whatever. But think right now that the world could use any bit of positivity that it can. And as comedians, we tend to have a lot of mental problems. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I'm not going to try to break it down and be like, we're fucked up, and that's when this is why we're funny psychologically or whatever. But comedians tend to have fucked up backgrounds. They tend to have anxiety and depression and all sorts of things. Oh man, what am I doing? Hold on, let me turn on the camera here. I'm fucking talking in the dark. I just realized that. What a fucking idiot. See where I'm at? I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, Butch. Let me put on. There we go. No, that's not it. There we go. All right. Empress Phoebe, Empress Phoebe. It was fun to lurk for a bit. Oh, thanks for lurking. I like that you're lurking. I don't mind the lurkers at all. I don't mind anybody who listens in. Like I said, to me, man, when I first started on this whole um pandemic thing and we were all freaking out, I'm gonna put my face over here and try to just stretch it out a little bit. Usually there's two of us in here, and DNA logged off. I didn't know if he wanted to spend more time or he had somewhere to be. So, but for me, when I started out on this whole fucking pandemic thing, and I was like, I was like tripping out and I was scared and like, man, I remember being like, cause like I grew up being afraid of doomsday. I grew up like with that in my head being imminent. My mom was super freaked out by nuclear war and like things were gonna happen, and so like I had that in my head that one day this was gonna happen. Before I was a comic, I always talked about I was like for real a doomsday prepper. Like I had like bins hidden in the fucking woods and shit with things to survive with in case shit went down. And so when the pandemic happened and I'm a comic and I'm no longer prepping and I'm no longer in that frame of mind, I fucking panicked and I got freaked out. But I realized right away that I needed to have a positive approach because I felt like I would lose my mind in the year to come. I definitely thought this was going to last longer than it did. I know a lot of people didn't, but for me, I was like, this is going to be crazy, And so I was like, man, I need to, at first I was like, I need to prepare. And then after a while, like, we got the right amount of toilet paper, we had the right amount of cleaning supplies, and it gave me a moment to just reflect and relax and be like, you know what, dude, fuck all this. I'm gonna follow the rules. I'm gonna do the best I can, like DNA just said, but I'm not gonna fucking flip out and lose my mind. And so I found a way to be positive about everything. Like one of the things is being able to do this, still being able to express myself. And so that's the thing is that I found ways to cope, and then once I found ways to cope, I found ways to survive, and I stayed out of the public for a long time, and I didn't go shopping. I got things delivered. And once I slowly acclimated back, and like now I have the vaccine. I'm getting the other one, so I'm gonna be a little bit more confident. But I kept positivity, and those who follow me on Twitch, who've been here since for the 8 months that I've been doing this, you know, can tell you I've been constantly preaching the positive note, constantly pushing the positive note, because I think that's what we need, and that's why I'm going to keep doing this podcast with DNA, because one of the things that I realized too is DNA has he's got a lot of fears still, like a lot of us, like I do, and he's able to express it, and I think that's helpful to people who are watching because they're able to see it's not just you that's having a hard time. It's not just you that's freaking out. Like a lot of us are, and I think the end game here though is to promote the positive aspect of everything, which is what I try to do here, and we're going to go dark and we're going to go oh man, this isn't cool, or we're going to talk about suicide, or we're going to talk about depression, you know, but the whole point of that is to just talk about it instead of not talking about it, instead of trying to pretend everything's okay. Empress Phoebe, you will never interrupt me. Always say hi. Always speak up. You know, that's the one thing is I'm trying to read the comments and I saw a lot of people watching, but not a lot of people participating, which is totally cool. Come and lurk or come and participate. But either way, I love you for being here. And I'm here. I'm glad you were here. I'm glad all of you were here. I had a good time. It was a good podcast. And just remember that this podcast goes up every Wednesday night and is done live every Tuesday afternoon to evening, depending on what our schedules are. So, anyway, again, I thank you all for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't be afraid to interrupt. Don't be afraid to speak up.